All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Makar Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace, salutations, and blessings be unto the hopeful elect, pushing his truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the globe, in the sincere hopes of being delivered in these last days. All right, this is the brother Yakanan from the GMS England branch. As you can see here, I have this report, and this is concerning uproars, okay, protests that are happening in London, all right, today, all right, Saturday. And on the left, you can see the protests concerning, Palestine. And on the right, you can see, Tommy's boys, okay? Tommy Robinson, and his clique. And we're living in that time, and the scriptures warn us in 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, which we'll get in a moment. The scriptures warn us about uproars of the people. And this being, the signs of the times, the signs of the end, of this kingdom that's currently ruled by who? Esau, Edom, beginning with their elites. Okay, these are signs of the times, of the downfall of Esau, Edom's kingdom. Uproars of the people, unrest, okay, people being unhappy, okay, people, suffering. All right, what does it tell us in Proverbs? Let's get it right quick. Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 2. And it reads, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Okay. And in the NLT it says, but when the wicked are in power, they groan. Okay. And people are groaning. All right. People are uproaring. People are showing that they're not happy. Okay. You have division. Which who's bringing that division? Yahweh Shai is bringing that division. Okay, and Yahweh Shai told us himself that he's come to set division. Okay, and we're seeing, that division, play out in these last days. This is biblical prophecy. Okay, people are divided. People are fighting against each other. Okay, you have, one people, rising up against another people. Okay, you have these, these Brits, these so-called Brits, so-called fighting for their land, okay, and and going against immigration and the immigrants, but who is actually causing all of this mayhem and chaos to actually play out? All right, it's the powers that be. All right, it's your government, okay, that set all of this up, because it's all planned, it's all engineered and controlled chaos to bring about a particular effect. Okay, and I was watching the brother Carl Byers video, all right, because he was doing it in transit, and you could see the sizzling up of the protests, okay, because he was actually at the location, all right, driving through, taking care of business, so on and so forth, and the Spirit had him see it. All right, so we're in that time. All right, we are definitely, in that time, in these last days, man. And we ain't got much long left in this wicked, defiled, and degenerate and base kingdom. All right, we ain't got much time left, man. You just, watch how Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai continues, to speed things up at a rapid rate. All right, as the scriptures say, I saw Satan as lightning, fall from heaven, roughly paraphrasing. This devil is falling. And all of this engineered chaos and, controlled oppositions and psyops, and it's not going to aid in his favor in the end, because Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, is ultimately in control. All right. Now check out this video and listen very closely.
Up to 100,000 people marching, 2 polarizing campaigns, one of the largest public order operations in the Met's history.
Now he said this is one of the largest operations, basically, well, let me replay it, capture what he said perfectly.
Up to 100,000 people marching, two polarizing campaigns, one of the largest public order operations in the Met's history.
One of the largest public order, all right, operations in the Mets history. Okay, so they're expecting that this is going to be a huge protest, all right, and following, you know, a huge anticipated protest, pretty much, you know, you can expect, all right, you know, violence, you know, Lord willing, and you know, complete mayhem. Okay, Lord willing, all right, because this is the times that we're living in. We'll see what happens, all right? But one thing we know for sure is that this is a signs, you know, of the times of the downfall of Esau Edom's kingdom, all right? Whether something does or doesn't happen, okay, this fact that, you know, this gathering, you know, is going ahead and people are at variance of each other, you know, that shows you that prophecy, you know, is playing out, all right?
Up to 100,000 people marching, two polarizing campaigns, one of the largest public order operations in the Met's history, and an FA Cup final. Here's all you need to know about the anticipated chaos in central London this Saturday.
And he said, you know, the FA Cup final, so you're going to have hooligans, you know, in the crowds. So, hey, you're pretty sure going to have, you know, violence and disorderly conduct, so on and so forth. Okay, if you got them sort of spirits, you know, running through the crowds. Okay.
Around 50,000 people are expected to join the Unite the Kingdom protest, led by Tommy Robinson, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon. They'll set off from Kingsway and make their way to Strand, Trafalgar Square, Whitehall, and finally Parliament Square, where the likes of Katie Hopkins and Jordan Peterson will speak. The demonstration's due to finish and disperse by 6 p.m. Meanwhile, some 30,000 are also expected to mark Nakba Day, commemorating 78 years since the mass displacement and ethnic cleansing of Palestinians during the establishment of Israel. They'll be setting off from Exhibition Road near the Natural History Museum at midday, walking up Brompton Road to Knightsbridge, along Piccadilly, and finally Pall Mall, where politicians such as John McDonnell and Diane Abbott will speak. That rally is expected to finish and disperse by 5:30 p.m. If you want to avoid the commotion altogether, then be sure to stay clear of central London on Saturday afternoon, particularly Strand, Westminster, Hyde Park Corner, and Piccadilly.
Right, so in the beginning, you know, he also mentioned, you know, the word chaos.
Two polarizing campaigns, one of the largest public order operations in the Met's history, and an FA Cup final. Here's all you need to know about the anticipated chaos in central London this.
Right, the anticipated chaos, okay? So these are the times, you know, that we're living in, all right? We're living in times of anticipated chaos, okay? And, you know, the brother Carl Bai, you know, in his video, he mentioned, you know, that film, what's it called? We've been bringing it up a lot as of recent. Damn, it escapes my mind. But basically, you know, this film, you know, perfectly encapsulates, you know, what's happening, you know, in these last days and what's about to continue happening, you know, in these last days, man. Okay? Pure mayhem, you know, division, uproars of the people, okay? Police state, okay? Martial law, so on and so forth. All of these things are pending, okay? And it's going to continue, you know, to get worse, all right? And Lord willing, you know, the name of that film comes back to me. It was right on the tip of my tongue, but it's just it escaped. All right, so this is 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1, and it reads, "He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is in this very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made." Okay, so we're commanded to measure the time, okay? And how do we measure the time? We measure the time through the Holy Scriptures, okay? We filter current events that are playing out upon the earth through the Holy Scriptures, the Holy Bible, okay? Because the Lord has given us the understanding and the ability to do that, Okay? So that's exactly what we do. And in doing that, we're able to gauge, where we sit concerning the end of the world. Okay? And as the scriptures tell us, Jacob is the Esau is the end of the world, all right, 2 Ezra 6 and 9, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So by that, we understand that we know that during the time of the end of the world, the nation of Esau, Edom, would be in rulership. So that's an identifying mark right there. The fact that Esau is ruling shows us that we're living in the midst of the end of the world. And that's why it's so important, or that's why it was so important, all right, for Esau, Edom to be identified and exposed in these last days, all right, because it lets you know we are indeed in the last days because he's ruling. Now, verse 3 says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. All right. So again, these are more identifying marks showing you that we're living in the midst of the end of the world. All right. And the film just came back to me, Children of Men. All right. I knew it would come back for Wada Children of Men. Okay. So you watch that film, and then, you see what was transpiring. These are the times, we're in and about to be more in, in these last days, man. The times of children of men, pure uproar, pure chaos, all right? T attacks and, all of that, man, all right? So I'm going to cut it off there, Lord willing, this lesson has been edifying. And until next time, I'll say shalom.